How long do you think you are?
Do you want to join the blending seminar?
We'll see.
10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
I would like 30. I'm hoping for 30.
You go for 30.
I hope so. But, yeah, I can talk, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I always surprise myself how long I can talk. But maybe this
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's yeah. Yeah, we're live. Yeah. I have his mic. You want a mic? You're going to be one? I'll give you one. I'll give you this one.
Yeah, that's not us. Okay.
There you go.
he might already be recording.
Yeah, somebody might. There you go. Now you got two mics, just in case.
Remember what you said.
All right, guys, we're going to get started with the blending seminar. So if you want to join us, go ahead and grab a seat one of these tables up here where everyone's joining around. Then we got to get Mark to sit down and stop talking. Never going to happen. All right, thank you guys for coming out. Really want to thank you guys for the participation. This is definitely the biggest year we had for attendees at the blending seminar, so it's awesome to see everyone come out. I'm Jeremy, president of Sunlit Tobacco. I want to welcome you guys. Hope you enjoy today's experience.
Can you count how many?
It's really about you guys.
How many we have?
Learning the knowledge that we, not me, but Adam, through his experience and Per, through his years of experience, can teach you guys. Always please feel free to ask all the questions you want. There are no stupid questions for real. Like, you know, if you don't want to raise your hand and ask it, come up when you're released to kind of make your own blends. So you can come ask Per or whomever a question. If you feel timid, Per will answer your question and not make fun of you, I promise. The way it's going to work today is Adam's going to start off talking about his experience at Sutliff and making his own blend, just kind of as an inspiration for you guys when you're thinking about, do I want to blend myself? What would that look like, etc. Then we're going to turn it over to our master blender, Per, and then Per is going to, I will say, give a demonstration, talk about some new blending components that he has and how you could use them in your blend. And then we're going to, quote unquote, release you to make your own blends. I'll explain that more when we're at that part of it. Because there's so many people, there will be fighting for space, we'll say, to get tobacco, but don't worry, we have plenty of time. We'll stay as long as we need to give everyone a chance to blend, make their own blend, and take it away with them. All right, so with that being said, we'll go ahead and introduce Adam. Adam's the host of, if you don't know him, he's the host of the Get Pipe podcast. And so Adam.
Good morning. My name's Adam. I've been in the tobacco sphere in terms of like the hobby side for about 5, 6, 7-ish years. Kind of lose track. Did a lot of funny things in college, but pipe smoking was one of them. And I've been hooked ever since. So I know a lot of you guys know that I talk a lot. That's why I have a podcast. If you don't like talking, you're not going to like that. You don't like my YouTube videos either. But I've become very infatuated with pipe smoking and tobacco pipes and by proxy, tobacco blending to a degree. So I've always had this idea that this stuff is for people who are masters. That was when I was a little bit younger. I still think that way, right? I don't know what I'm doing. So that's the interesting piece that I bring to this table. I'm not going to teach you how to do it, but I'm going to walk you through how I ended up making my own blend. And there's several pieces that come into that. So when I first started thinking about maybe making my own blend, it's like, okay, if I just have a guy do it for me, what's the ownership for me? Do I just say, hey, I want this to taste like hot chocolate? Find a hot chocolate guy who likes hot chocolate and make the tobacco, or do I try to start blending stuff on my own? So when it comes to blending, right, that's kind of like your first piece, finding out what you want, and then from there, trying to make it into a real thing. And so one thing I also thought about, a lot of blenders, young blenders will start to do is they'll start with maybe mixing previous current production tobaccos. You might have like a autumn evening. You might love the maple that comes with autumn evening, but you're like, oh, well, Burley's way cool, and maybe I like Latakia, I like that dark smokiness. What if I mix those two together? What if I mix early morning pipe and autumn evening? So now I have early automate. So those are kind of the ways that we start to blend tobacco. Really to the spirit. Generally speaking, we start to get into the blending crowd. So I had done that. I had this really goofy series on my show called Blend Blend. And it's basically mixing a blend with a blend, and it was horrible. So I found out that there's a reason that these blends are put together, and they're not designed to be necessarily mixed with enough. Now that's not to say that if you've done it, you've probably found a pretty awesome product, depending on how long you've done it for. I did not have that luck. I was basically just mixing cool blended names with other cool blended names, and then I combine them. So I would recommend don't do that today. Don't go to Dark Fire, so I can call this old, strong Kentucky gentleman or something. That might be your gig, but it probably won't work out too well. Unless you have an understanding of those components, right? So that becomes the next piece, right? Should I smoke just the burley? Should I smoke pure burley? Should I smoke pure Latakia? Should I smoke pure Perique? These are things that I've had, that kind of came into my head. I was like, I don't have a lot of time to smoke the pure components and understand them. But I felt like there was somewhat of an onus on me to do so. How can I stay on the line if I don't even know what pure Perique tastes like? And I think there's some legitimacy to that idea. But I would say from a rookie blending perspective, that's not probably the most important. You know, once you become a master blender, probably have a couple little tricks to really understand. And when you continue to grow as a blender, I mean, this not a critique per se, but as I've heard Perry Ensign, Jeremy Reeve, I've heard Greg Key talk about it, they're able to identify what they want in blend before even kind of messing with the components. So my experience is not that. I domesticate a lot of components, and I know some of you guys might have like a rare kind of maybe a McClellan blend. And you're packing your bowl. There's like a little pieces of the tobacco might spill onto the table. You're probably pushing that into the tin or keeping it. That's not the case with blending. If you're blending, there's a lot of ways. It's actually mind-boggling. So typically you start off with all these big components. And there's kind of a rule of thumb that they say out there, start with 100 grams. So you're trying to get your proper mixture within 100 grams. You'll shake it all up in the bag, let it kind of marry. This could be over a long period of time. It could be over 15 minutes. But obviously, as more time goes by, it will continue to change, the characteristics change. But generally speaking, it's at 100 grams, okay? And that's a lot of tobacco. 100 grams is a lot of tobacco, right? And your first one is probably not going to be great. My first, 17 were very not great. And I was like, oh gosh, it's a lot of tobacco that is kind of useless. And that's the tobacco industry, man. It's a lot of trial and error for these blending components. But basically, the process for me started when on my show I talked about what I thought was this revolutionary idea of adding maple syrup, Irish whiskey, and black coffee to a mug. I called it flannel coffee. The name came from New Hampshire. That's where I'm from. Anybody from New England by any chance? Hell yeah. Go Sox. More Celts. Doing something. But anyway, so being from New Hampshire, flannel is a big part of our culture, I would say. I was also wearing a flannel when I came up with this concoction. But I was on this kind of diet where I was trying to eat some more pure foods and stuff, and I was like, I want to make my coffee sweet, but if I just put some maple syrup in it, I don't think I'm the first person to do it. I am probably the first person to call it something new. So I call it flannel coffee, and it became kind of a funny thing on our show, as we talked about on the podcast. And then, Sutliff, thank you so much to Sutliff for being a listener on my show. They're like, what if you tried to make this into tobacco? So we had just launched our first blend from what we're calling the Get Piped Reserve, on behalf of the Country Squire. I'm sure many of you folks are familiar with Country Squire. Good friend Quinn Crawford made a blend for us called 100 Earthen Dreams. That was, I guess, my very initial stages of blending, in the sense where I had him do the work. I was like, I don't know anything about this stuff. You are the guy, you're the journeyman blender, and let you build this product, and then I'll just be the yay or nay guy. And after a few days, he kind of nailed it. Not the case with me, as I mentioned, but I've alluded to, but I'll get to that in a moment. But then I wanted to add to this collection, this Get Piped Reserve. And Jeremy came up to me and he says, you could come to Sutliff, we could do it. You could be the guy in the room with all the tobacco, mixing it up. And I was like, Jeremy, I don't know anything. And he's like, well, good thing we are one of the oldest tobacconists in the world. I know something, and I got a guy who knows a lot of things. So alongside like their expertise, I was able to slowly put this product together, this blend of coffee. And so the idea, like I said, is about that maple syrup, the coffee, the burley, or excuse me, like a coffee blend of one with your burley. I'm a big burley guy, so that's my default base, and then Irish whiskey. So with that, intuition leads me to believe I want to reach for a aromatic that's whiskey, find some kind of a coffee flavor. Maybe since it's black coffee, the original recipe, I liken that to a burley, so I'm going to reach for the burley. Now I got to get some maple flavor. I'm going to get the maple flavor, probably a maple aromatic. And then another thing is thinking about the blends that you do enjoy. So, of course, I wouldn't try and make it really free myself because I don't like it too much. But I do like some aromatics and like those burleys, so it made sense to lean on the blends that I do enjoy. So about a wonderful product that came out. By Maple Shadows. This was an aromatic that sold very quickly. It was very limited release. It's going to be some at the table tomorrow, so I should totally get a can of it. Very beautiful tin. But it was basically an aromatic that was maple flavored. And it was not a autumn evening coffee. Remember that. It's very good tobacco. Autumn evening's great too, but I really love this blend. And I was like, this could be my starting point. How do I take Maple Shadows, which is significantly, in my own opinion, better product than Autumn Evening because it has the characteristics of tobacco, but that flavor, that high profile maple flavor. How do I start to pull that and put that into my own blend without just taking that product and adding Irish whiskey? And then funny enough, not 2 months later, or 3 months later, after I've been thinking about all this, Blackthorn Shillelagh came out, another very limited release from Tutlick, which was a St. Patrick's Day, and it was an extremely Irish whiskey forward tobacco, which started to really put together in my head. I was like, okay, this is kind of like flannel coffee. You know, I just got to put the coffee blend in between to get this Irish whiskey, get this maple flavor, put them together. So intuition would lead me to think I should just mix those two and then ask them what those components are. But we didn't want to do that, right? I wanted to truly make this my own thing. But that's kind of where you start. So I had a vision, had a general idea of what I wanted in terms of flavor. So we started off with that base. There's many different bases that you can start with, right? I'm not going to try to teach you about it. I'll prepare you that in just a moment. But I wanted burley. That's my favorite tobacco. So actually, it happened to be the burley base that you can find from Paris New line of blended components. And that was my base. And then finding out the proportions is pretty much just darts at a dartboard, unless you're a master blender, right? So those guys in general, folks who've been in the sphere for so long blending, they're going to have a general idea of what they're going to be moving towards. I had no idea. Let's try 40 grams, 50 grams, 75 grams, and then we're trying to plug and play up to that 100 gram mark. I don't know what, you can always scale that back, right? Like it's numbers. So we have some scale sheets when you guys do, just try to keep that figure in mind, whatever number you're working with, and just keep those ratios. You got to take notes of everything. So I had probably like 3 or 4 pages full of just different trials that we did. And it is a funny process. You put it all in, you blend it, and then you put it in the bag, you're mixing it, and you smoke like probably 3 to 4 puffs out of maybe a fresh pipe, or there's two approaches, like a fresh pipe, like a corn cob, maybe a clay. Those are the ones where you know that have the real intrinsic flavor of the tobacco. You're not getting too much from the bowl. Or the other option would be to smoke it in a bowl that you're very comfortable with. So, you know, I'm a big Peterson guy, some of you guys know that. So I put one of my pipes that I've smoked many bowls out of. Yeah, I'm going to get some other flavors from there, but I'm very comfortable with it. So those are kind of the 2 methods. So today I'd encourage you to maybe play around with it because it's, you know, you want to do many trials with these blends. But when I'm trying these first probably 5 iterations of the flannel coffee, not good at all. I was like, this would discredit everything I've said about you know, anything cool about tobacco, because if you were to try this, no one wants to say it because it's a very difficult thing, right? So finding ways to tune it, and that's where leaning on the masters is key. So if you guys are finding that you like the components, you can then kind of move to the expert. Be like, okay, where do I go from here? This is what I'm getting in terms of flavor. I don't think Paris is going to smoke what seems to be like 75 different blends. So you probably won't be able to pinpoint yet, but you can at least give you that jumping point. Okay, I would probably add a little bit more Black Cavendish, or maybe I'd take away some Latakia. So essentially that was kind of this process. And this room, thank you so much to Sutler for hosting me. I had all these bins out of tobacco, and we're just continuously blending. I had Greg, writer for tobaccoprice.com, trying with me, giving me his feedback. So that's another piece here. So it'd be very beneficial if you're really trying to nail a blend, is to maybe do it alongside someone. I think I had like 5 or 6 folks in the room smoking the blend that I made and giving me some feedback. Hey, we need to bump up the burley. We got to pull back on the coffee. We got to pull back on that whiskey. Actually, maybe we pull back on the Irish whiskey, and then Jeremy says, let's just put a real Tullamore Dew on top of it and let that blend together. Which you guys can try tomorrow when the show starts. We're gonna have a final coffee out there, and that was something that I wanted to consider. I needed someone who's very experienced to kind of pinpoint me. I think we nailed it together. So it's fun. It's very intimidating and humbling as well. I didn't think I'd be good at it. Confirmed I wasn't until probably the 17th trial. I'm not ready to now blend another English mixture or something, so it's going to be a while before I do it. But you do see how much tobacco you have to go through, how much you have to blend and mix up, and it is scary how much you're throwing away. Essentially because it's like, wow, this just didn't work. But that's kind of part of the game. It's actually a fun process, and I would encourage you also to keep like your notes. Like I said, we have like 17 iterations of blends that are no more, that will never be, should never be. But that last one when we nailed it was very, very satisfying. So I'm going to think some questions off of Pear here. My question for Pear directly would be like, what's that? Like what I said was I decided I wanted this flavor. Do you chase the flavor, or is there like a general standard that you want to start with? Is that talking about, okay, do you want to start with the Burley, do you want to start with Virginia, or is this one of those things where Pear has had so much experience that he just knows exactly what he needs to go for? That was something that Jeremy brought up to me. He's like, okay, Pear would probably say add some of this, or this, these 3 things. These are like kind of 3 constants in like the blending world that he's learned for his own expertise that adds to the blends and whatnot. But my question would be, where do you start? Where's the real answer for starting? Was your first blend when you were blending 17, 20 blends before they're really good, or did you have a more intuitive start to your blending?
You want me to answer that? Also, good morning from me. I can promise you, I have smoked so much bad tobacco in my life. When we're mixing, it's not 100 gram, like Adam said. We are more in the 50 kilo for a batch. And then you have to think about, then we fill it into the pipe, we have an idea what should it taste like, and it doesn't taste anything like that. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. No, as I said, I smoked so much bad tobacco in my life that I can't even remember all of them, thank God. When we blended at McBaron, it was at least 50 kilo at a time. And think about when we got into the sensory panel and we presented it, and it was thumb down. That was 50 kilo of tobacco for the waistband. And that is blending. There is only one way to go around with blending, and that is trial and error. There's nothing in between. I can have a beautiful idea. I want to make a tobacco with smoke, a little bit more body and so on. And then I start. And I'll find out I ended up a completely wrong place. Then you start adjusting. And then when you start blending today, please make notes. We have pens and paper here. Because the worst thing that can happen, that is when you say, wow, that is it. And then you can't remember what you did. That's too bad. So write it on a piece of paper. You want?
Yeah, on that last note with the writing, like I said, I had like 3 full pages with the notes. And then I would say, if you really are, like, this is going to be a process that continues. If you are genuinely interested in making your own true blend, I would encourage you to have someone else try those. So when we finally nailed it, you're gonna find that I mean, what I found was I was very, very hypercritical of these blends. Whereas like when I open up a new tin from Sutliff, generally I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool, it's great, you know. But when it's coming from your own, this isn't too good. You know, maybe it should be more of this, maybe it should be more of this. It's called flannel coffee. I want someone to think about coffee. If they're not thinking that, we're missing the mark. So Jeremy is like, you're in too deep. You know, 17 blends. You don't even have a tongue anymore. We're running out of corn cocktail. To be completely honest, we need to stop. How about this? I'm going to mix up some of the highlights that you had mentioned. I would basically highlight the ones that I think were in the right direction. And he's like, I'm going to mix these up, not together, but I'll label the tins like 1 through 4, 1 through 6, or whatever. You're going to take a break. You're going to take a day, take a 2-day, whatever it is, and then he would send me them, and I wouldn't know which one was corresponding to the blends that I had crafted. And then I was like, whoa, this one's pretty good. What was I thinking there? That was one of my tops. That one's now my least favorite. Then you find that one that's like, okay, this is what I want to work with, and that's where we got with Flannel Coffee. So I sent him back the number. It's like, it's number 3. Whatever 3 is, we want to go from there. It's missing a little bit, but we'll work from there. And that's where leaning on those experts, which they're absolutely open to your questions, is very key. And that was the point where Jeremy was like, you want more whiskey? Let's put some real whiskey in it. Let's put some good old faithful Tullamore too, which is my favorite Irish whiskey. And it made the tin sing. So that was kind of the culmination piece. But so my last little bit of advice is to really rely on the others. Rely on your friends. They don't got to be master blenders. People know if things taste good or not. I think it's very enjoyable, very fun to kind of talk about and smoke these things with peers. So it should be a pretty cool experience. We have a ton of scales here. We have a ton of tobacco that you guys can mess around with. And like I said, don't get discouraged. The first probably several batches will be not super great. But if you nail the first one, hey, that's a really, really cool thing, and it happens out there. So yeah, thank you guys for listening to my little monologue here about my blending, little seminar that I had both there and now here. It's something that I'm really interested in. I'm still going to leave it to the experts. I'm not going to continue to do this too much myself, but this could be your new thing, right? Like I know a lot of young folks are younger in the hobby per se, getting into pipe making. This could be the new thing. I'd love to see more blenders. We're starting to see that. We're starting to see these blenders that are doing stuff at home. They're growing their own tobacco. That's way above my level. But that's what we're seeing, and I would encourage you to get in there, have some fun with it, and then trial and error. Don't get discouraged. Just have some fun. So, thank you guys.
This is better? Yeah, okay. First of all, let me introduce a good old friend, Mr. Brian Levine. Woo! Without knowing it, he has taught me a very, very important lesson. And that is, I am the world's best expert in my own taste. So when you are blending, don't ask the guy sitting next to you, what do you think about this? Because his tone might be completely different from yours. You're blending for yourself. I have made many blends and presented blends, and a certain percent say, well, this is fantastic, and a certain percent say, well, nothing special. It's like that. So go for your own taste. I'm not going to make a lot of information about the tobaccos. You will find that on the internet. But I'm going to introduce you to a new, I would say, a new concept of blender. Because following your blend today, you are buying a little bit of Virginia, a little bit of Burley, a little bit of Cavendish, and then you start mixing. But you are buying what the manufacturer thought it should taste. Then you buy something from another manufacturer and start mixing that. And then I have to get into problems with the casing. They start fighting each other, so you end up with an odd taste. And the only thing maybe left is the paper bag. It's just waiting there for you to shut off. So I'm going to make a fantasy blend. Please don't copy it, because I'm not sure it's going to be good. but just to give you an impression what you can do with these tobaccos. First of all, in my younger life, I met a very, very sweet lady. So let's call her Lady Virginia. Virginia gives sweetness to a blend. It could bite a bit, but I have to be careful. There's no bite in this. It has been hard pressed, so the bite is hard. It only adds sweetness, and it's very often used as a basic for many blends. But if you want to tame her and give her a little bit more body, we go to a father or burley. And the burley tobacco has more power, and that is because the pH value is neutral, where in Virginia it's sour, and the human organism takes more nicotine out of a neutral tobacco. How many of you are smoking cigars? Do you inhale? No, because that's certain death.
That's right.
Cigars are alkalic, and it's not meant to be inhaled. So this one is neutral. I can balance out the sourness of the Virginia with the burley. Also, it has the same amount of nicotine, but you will feel that this is a stronger tobacco. So if you want more body, you add some more burley. Then we have our redneck here, Dark Fire Kentucky. It is also a burley. It has been chopped off when it grows, so it only leaves about between 14 and 16 leaves. And nicotine is reduced in the roots, and it only got fewer leaves to distribute all the nicotine. So the nicotine content in Dark Fire Kentucky is also higher. It's pH 7, meaning neutral. So you get a lot of nicotine out of Dark Fire Kentucky. After harvesting, it's smoked. So if you want a little bit smoky note, you can add some Dark Fire Kentucky. So strength and smoky notes. And then we have Mr. Beast here, bold and strong. Here I've gone from my experience with the HH Rustica. So you can find Rustica in this blend. We have some burley and we have some air-cured Virginia. Air-cured Virginia is not normal to use. It's a thin leaf. It burns very good, but it's neutral in pH value. So all tomatoes in here adds to the strength. This is filling your stomach before you smoke it. So if you want to make a blend stronger, you can use this, or you can use burley or Dark Fire Kentucky. And then of course you have possibilities to buy Perique. You can buy La Tequila, and you can start mixing that in. My suggestion is when you start with these four, and you have mixed something where you say, well, it's not bad. Before you start adding the tequila or Perique or aromatics, please smoke it and make notes how it is. So if it doesn't work when you add the tequila, remove the tequila. And then you have to compose the blend in a complete other way. So, and just to show you how it could work, I'm going to make a little bit of a fantasy blend. These four tobaccos are all natural. The fifth one is an aromatic. And that means if I want a little bit sweet taste, I can add some aromatics. Not that I'm getting it, as you would call, in your face, but it's just a small hint of sweetness and flavor. So I'm taking a little bit of Virginia. then we need to temper maybe Virginia down, so we're calling for her father. And Burley is foggy. It's also stronger, so I don't use that much. Just mix it with, put it on top of the Virginias. And here I have to think about what I'm going to do. Do I want to have a little bit smoky nose? Yeah, just a little bit. So just take what I can have between two fingers, add it to the blend. Shit, what happened?
That was not me.
So, and then I say, well, I have my Burley, I have my Virginia, I have my Dark 5. Now I want a tobacco that kick ass. So I grab round about half of the amount of tobacco from old and strong, put it into my blending bowl, and then comes up with the idea, well, a little bit flavor would be nice. So I'm taking the aromatic, and here I'm just using a little bit. So now we have all 5 tobaccos in the bowl. And then you can start mixing them. The 4 of them are ready rubbed tobacco, so you can rub them out even more if you like. You can keep them, no matter what, they will smoke perfectly. Jeremy, I think we have a new blend. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But that is what's in the blending. And the big difference from what is the possibility you had before and what you have today, that is these tobaccos. You can smoke them as they are, meaning you can smoke the Virginia pure, the Burley pure, and so on, or you can mix them. And if you start mixing them, you have so many possibilities that I'm sure you'll find one direction that will fit your taste. It's taking away the uncertainty and also taking away all the tobacco you have to throw away. So that was the idea behind my concept. So I'm done blending now. Now it's you. So Jeremy, will you?
Yeah. So questions for Per before we get started. We'll start right there with Ted.
Is when you first light up, that you need to let it sit a couple of weeks to kind of develop those flavors, or does it go right off the bat?
No, when you blend, you let it sit 5 days, so that the different aromas can vary in the tobacco. Just 5 days. Of course, if you are making a flake, it's 30 days. It has to be pressed, it has to be stored, it has to be cut before you can smoke. So this is flake tobacco cut and made into a red rub, so it's 30 days. They are marrying together.
And you want to target at 100 gram number. You have 100 back. Start with the base. What's our target number? Like we're starting with the Virginia. We're starting with like 50 grams, 25 grams. If we're walking up, what's a good starting?
A good starting point here is if you're a Burley fan or you're a Virginia fan, the tobacco you like the most, if you make 50% as a base, and then start mixing it out from there. Or if you're into strong tobacco, you take 50% bold and strong. Yeah. 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 You mean that next year will come a new crop and we'll perhaps have to use that in some of the blends and change the properties? Well, for instance, the Virginia, you will find 12 different Virginias in the blend, both bright Virginias and red Virginias. And if we are running out of one, then we have already bought something that are, so we say 98% the same. So we can change that one, but it's 1 out of 12. And that it's the only way to do it. Because we are not working with, don't have any top flavor we can hide it behind. So, more questions? I'm a Virginia guy. So, I leave it to that. How we are making the aromatic? Well, the aromatic is a mix of Virginia berries, of cannabis, Virginia cannabis, mixed together, and then we add top flavor on top of that. In this case, we have a little bit sweetness, but the most of the smell and the taste you get is sweet fruit. But that is something we put upon the tobacco. It's not in the tobacco itself. Something about Orientals. What would you like to know? It's a very wide.
Oriental Brazilian.
The Orientals, the best is Virginia. If you're thinking about all the typical English terms, it's Virginia, Oriental, that's a key. Yeah, yeah. And then of course I have all the varieties of the Orientals, Inspira, Surama, we're using one called Patapini, which we find has a very good taste. More questions? Yep.
For the purpose of today's demonstration, I didn't see any marquee on the table. Would you substitute a dark fire for that? We can come up with this.
Yeah, we have Latakia, we have Perique, also St. James Perique over there, but I didn't include it in the blends because the concept was you can smoke the blend as they are. And I don't know if you want to smoke Perique pure. No, if you can, please do it on the bathroom.
So, Jeremy, this question for you is the Latakia that we use today, is that your special Latakia that you use at home, that you order online?
Yeah, if you like that Latakia, our TS20 Latakia, we start all Latakia 20. Any other questions? All right, again, Hair, Adam, myself will be here for days. So any questions you have, find us at any time. Ask us whatever you'd like. With that being said, you probably won't have enough tobacco like for everyone to do 100 grams. Would probably be pushing it. We will be running out of stuff. There is not 50 kilos for everyone to make and throw away today. There's probably not even 200 grams for everyone to make and throw away. This isn't going going to be a blending seminar where you're going to like make a blend, throw it away, and try and make another blend. This is more just here's a chance to use some free tobaccos. You get one shot of it. Don't screw it up. Or give it to your friend later and tell them it's the best blend you've ever bought. But so we passed around some bowls. There's some scales on the table. We've given you some pouches to put your final blend in. There's pens and notes. Just be polite. Again, we'll be here as long as you want to be here and as long as there's tobaccos. So take your time, go away, come back. If there's no tobaccos at your table, we've tried to put out, and we will put these tags of Pear's blending components out on another table as well. And then we have a bunch of some of aromatics up here, some coffees, some bourbons. I believe there's a pickle cab, a vanilla. Then we also have some Perique, and we also have some Latakia up here as well. So please come up, use some. If you don't know, I mean, think about a pouch of tobacco is 50 grams, or 42 and a half, really. A normal pouch of tobacco is anywhere from 42 and a half grams to 50 grams of tobacco. It's not a lot. So you're not really taking a whole handful, when you start, because you're really looking.
If we were thinking about the smokiness, how much of a difference would be putting the Latakia in instead of the
just so you can play with it. And
more smoke?
yeah. So any questions? We're here. Help yourself. Be polite. Be nice, and have a good time.
Smells wonderful.
Thank you guys.
Right.
I don't have my pipe with me. I have to go into the room, but I'm going to take a little bit in the bag.
I find the bag and put it in.
I will.
You can grab his mic. Grab his mic.
Yep.
Mike, my question. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Snap.
Yep.
Okay, two other things real quick. One, carry your scale, put your pole on, hit the zero button so it goes to 0. 2, change it to grams. Ounces, it's a lot easier in grams, it's a lot smaller units. So make sure it's not grams, it makes it a lot easier. And in tera, somebody that knows what they're doing, hit the tera button.
To watch the blending seminar, and the guys are putting together their blends, their own private blends. Should be interesting to get some reactions of their initial blends.
Oh, pardon me, I'm sorry.
No worries. Do your thing.
Okay, I think I've got a plan.
You've got a plan.
Yes. Yeah, pretty confident. We'll see how it goes. But I definitely am going to use the scale. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting mine from 100% from the 50 grams, and then just multiply by 2 on my corner up.
That sounds like a game plan. You have a plan in order. Go ahead. Let's see what you come up with. Hopefully,
We'll see. I'm shooting for the McClellan's 20th anniversary.
Nice.
That's what I'm shooting.
Nice.
And I know I'm not going to get that McClellan case.
Right.
But essence.
Yes. There you go. No notes needed. You don't need any notes. You knew exactly what you were blending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I want to smoke you.
That's it. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. Actually, I made the same maybe 4 years ago in Richmond.
Oh, you did. You made the same blend.
Yeah.
So you liked it.
Yeah, I make 2 teams.
Yeah.
A small team, one.
Oh, good.
I make similar.
Oh, good. 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 Uh-oh, somebody's attempting La Tequila here. A brave soul. Tell me about that blend that you're going to start.
I'm gonna try to make a burley and maybe get some other things with it.
Nice, nice. Continue on your way. So you've already plotted out your course of action.
I want to give it a try.
There we go.
I make bread sometimes, so I play around with balloons and flowers.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm curious as well. On that yet.
Hey, look, you look familiar. Ah, there you go, little Virginia. That's your base?
Yeah.
Starting on the base. There we go.
I gotta write it down.
Write it down. Weigh it. Write it down. George, how are you today? Did you smoke your pipe? Oh, good, good. Awesome. And then you're going to be blending your own tobacco? How could be better? You can't beat it. Excellent. Go have some fun. La Tequila moved over this way. La Tequila's over here. There's the La Tequila right there. He's got it right there. Right there. We've got Bob building his own blend here. Here goes Bob. He's making his own blend. Bob, what are you making?
Well, he just informed me about how to make what I want. So it's going to be a basic Virginia base
Right.
with just a little bit of La Tequila. So it's going to have all the sweetness of Virginia,
Right.
and just a hint of that smokiness.
So mostly Virginia.
It'll be about 60 to 70% Virginia base.
And then you got any burley in there?
No burley.
No burley. Because you're getting the strength from
I'm
La
getting the
Tequila.
smokiness out of the La
Yeah,
Tequila.
there you go.
So it's going to be interesting. I'll try this out.
All right, give it a shot. I might have to try to smoke it too. I got to give you critique.
I'll have to make a little more.
We are here live at the Pipe Tobacco Blending Seminar, and you can see folks are here having a great time blending, and then they'll be able to sample their blends, put it in their pipes, and smoke it. How can you beat that, folks? You really can. You got very cool to see people's different formulas. But overall, we had such a great introduction to blending, and folks here are incorporating some of that vast knowledge and now producing blends of their own to try out. And as you can tell, you've got different proportions, 20 grams there. They're looking at probably making 50 grams of total, maybe 100 tops, but I think 50 at this point, just because of the amount of tobacco available. And we are live here at the Chicago International Pipe Show, where folks are doing their own blends of pipe tobacco, and they're creating their own kind of unique blends because but they've gotten some early instruction. If you haven't checked out the beginning of this video, you're going to want to do that, and you'll get some incredible knowledge base from the folks here at Sutliff. And we will be coming back to you live, most likely right after lunch, where there'll be another speaking engagement. I'm not sure exactly who it is, but I have to look at my notes. Join us later. We'll be back on live at multiple points during the day, and check us out. We'll see you soon.